Welcome to the Dawg Chug. I'm Andy. I got my boys Roger and Ed here, and we got Nick Karns joining in tonight. It's going to be a great show. I hope everyone is ready for some fun. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, I got Ed's. First of all, I got a couple things. Ed's executive order came through. I can hear it crystal clear. I got my hearing aids in underneath my. This is amazing. I didn't even know Andy could talk. I haven't heard him in a year and a half.
Nice.
So I can hear everything now. So far, we'll find out with Chugbot if I can understand Chugbot because he doesn't speak English. So if I can hear him, and then the other thing is I had to take the van, and I got to buy that. I had to take the van in to get brakes, right? Because we're going to North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia at the end of the month, and I haven't put brakes on it since I bought it. 800 American for brakes. Andy, what would it cost on a Cybertruck? What if you needed brakes on that thing? You
needed new brakes, but I'm sure it would be a lot more than $800.
It's like $2,000 to put them on a box.
I can't believe it. $800. I know a guy in the old neighborhood. He's got a cherry picker and some bricks, and he would have done it for like $50 and a bag of weed, and I could have got all of them done.
Well,
I should have went there.
I do want to commend you, Roger. We did some Roger School last week, to kind of teach you to be a man of the people, and the results have been astounding. You've been condescending but funny, and you've been great. I've been watching your social media interactions, and I mean, Roger School is it's killing it. So we're gonna get to a new Roger School tonight, but I think first we're gonna keep this show tight. We're keeping it under an hour.
Andy, before we do that, I wanted to surprise you real quick.
Okay.
Roger School, it just came up. You're doing so well, Roger. I feel like we've turned a new leaf, a new chapter in this new Roger this past week, and I like what you're doing on X and how you're engaging, but you're doing it in a way that is, kind of friendly. It's kind of nice to see. But I wanted to test you right now because Andy, the best thing about school is you need some remediation. You need to show that you're ready you learn something. Okay, so Roger, in this scenario, I want to say this: congratulations to your son on his Cleveland championship, and we all know what that means, second place. What do you got? So if somebody comes at you like that, I mean, what do you say? What's the new Roger going to say?
It's 11U baseball. The boys are out there having fun and they're learning. Yeah. I get that you want to win everything, Ed. I understand the need that you have.
Well, we do in Columbus, Roger.
It's just not like that for everybody. It's more about having fun, Edward. Having fun.
Wow. Okay, Andy. So far, he passed. I gotta give him an A. Give him an A.
All right. As a fan, though, it's not fun to watch you lose. That's the problem. That's the problem we suffer. Anyway, all right, we're gonna move it right along to Ed. You're up.
That's right. And Nick and I apologize beforehand. This is Nick Columbus with your Dawg Chug breaking news. Recently, the Cleveland Guardians have taken it up the butt, losing 2 out of 3 to the Astros and then losing their Ohio Cup to a team from Kentucky. To be straight, there still could be a wild card spot at the end of the rainbow. Pride in the tribe. Darius Garland had surgery on his big toe, so you can now stop calling him a pussy for not playing as much. He will, however, be pussyfooting around the next couple months. And finally, Nick Chubb has signed with the Houston Texans because Cleveland didn't want him. Don't worry, Browns fans. Chubb will be just fine. It's like being at a gay club and Jeffrey Dahmer doesn't give you the time of day. Better to eat than be eaten. And this is Nick Columbus with your Dawg Chug breaking news.
Well done.
That was awesome.
That was fantastic.
I saw Nick shedding a little tear there, though, when you got to your third story. Nick, are you okay?
I think I've been preparing for it for a long time, and the writing was on the wall when they drafted 2 running backs, so it sucks, but it's like not unexpected.
You say that, but it's like when you have a family member that has some terminal illness, it's coming. But then when you hit that news, it hurts.
Yeah. No, it sucks. I'm not gonna mourn. But It's weird. It's weird seeing Nick in Houston. I'm glad he's at least in Houston rather than like a bunch of the other places he could have gone. It's going to hurt less, I think. But for what he signed for, now maybe he thinks he's going to get more opportunity in Houston, but for what he signed for, it's like that's a pittance, and I feel like the Browns could have at least matched. But maybe he didn't want to stay. You can't make a player want to stay, and when they draft 2 running backs, I can't really blame him.
Let's hope he went to Pittsburgh, Nick.
That would have been that would have been.
I thought for sure was gonna. I thought it was a done deal. He'd end up in Pittsburgh, like a Joe Hayden move, and not Nick's fault, and not Hayden's fault. You know.
Yeah. Shout out Sherry for that. Thank you for that. But I will say this. Sometimes I get accused, Andy, like you get accused of being a robot. I get accused of hating on Cleveland, even though I am a Clevelander. But I was so hurt, Andy, that I used Nick Chubb and Jeffrey Dahmer in the same. So I just want everybody out there to know the pain that you're feeling about Nick Chubb. It's real. I get it. And for like to Nick's point, $2.5 million, just even sign him just to go around Giant Eagles and sign autographs if you're not going to give him carries. But at least I give him $3 million. It just, of all the things you can do for goodwill and stuff like that, it's the cheapest option. And, you're actually going to win over some people that, whatever. But
you're going to put him in the Ring of Honor, but he wasn't worth $2.5 million.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
But the thing is, could they have cut him? That would have been a real shit. Can you imagine if they did give him $2.5 million and then ended up cutting them?
I mean, they were basically saying that $2.5 million or the gamble for Nick Chubb is Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford better be good then, because that's essentially what you're doing. You got the 2 rookies, but essentially you picked Jerome Ford over Nick Chubb. Essentially, what you did. So you're on the clock. Laser eyes, Barry. Okay, let's see what happens.
He drafted Jerome Ford. He didn't draft Nick Chubb, and they get to that point when they get stuff like that.
Is Nick Chubb part of our Spit Sip Chug? I can't remember tonight.
Yeah, we'll shut up about him. That's fair.
I really can remember, but I came up with Spit Sip Chug. I could not remember.
It was a great one. It is actually. We'll
keep the show moving along. So we're gonna go to Roger. You prepared a top 10 today, and I think this.
I got a top 10. Yeah, and it's when a team gets a player, there's always positives and negatives. Some people see the same thing one way and other people see it the other. So what we have is these are the top 10 positive and or negatives for the Steelers after signing Aaron Rodgers. Here we go. Number 10, Greta Thunberg Annoyingberg is on her way down to Allegheny in her boat to protest the Rodgers signing. Number 9, Rodgers now plans on replacing his 2024 presidential running mate RFK with Steely McBeam in 2028. Number 8, when you add Aaron Rodgers' lone Super Bowl to the Steelers 7, they finally have as many NFL championships as the Cleveland Browns. Number 7, our token Steeler fan, Jay, our guest tonight, is still getting the stains out of his blue dress from creepy Russell Wilson, and now this happens. Number 6, Mike Tomlin now has quarterbacks on the KKK membership list and the FBI nutjob watch list. Number 5, the only Roger Nick Karns writes poems about is me, bitches. Number 4, at some point this season, Mike Tomlin is a lock to win the Antonio Brown prestigious Cracker of the Week. Number 3, Aaron Rodgers free ayahuasca day at giveaway. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers kooky Fourth River conspiracy theory is gaining traction. And the number 1 positive and or negative for the Steelers after signing Freak Boy, plant-based terrible towel giveaway week 1. I'm Roger First in Cuyahoga Falls, and fuck the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow. Nice job, Roger.
When's free ayahuasca day?
You gonna make the trip over, Nick? Is that what you're saying? Road game.
I know they wanted to do it early because he's going to be injured by like week 4, so they wanted to make sure get it in. Anyway, that was well done. I laughed many times. Thank you, Roger. And with that, we have to do Roger School. Roger School.
Oh yeah, great. I was going to cut today too.
So Roger School is a new bit that we've implemented that we're trying to, teach Roger the softer ways of interacting and engaging with people. So Roger, if someone tweets at you the following, I want you to be sensitive to, the Dawg Chug and not being as abrasive as you've been in the past. So try and come up with, a gentler way to respond, but get your feelings across because that's important. So today's Roger School tweet at you is, plumbers are just failed electricians. Your response, please.
You know what? I completely understand that because you take for granted everything that a plumber does. You're not dead from typhoid or dysentery. Plumbing, I get it. Plumbing, electricians, they're never dirty. My old man said to me, hey, I can get you in the electricians union. It was right when I was like 17, 18. And I said, no, I want to go to work for Dick, my uncle, in the family plumbing business. So it tells you right off the bat, the old man wanted me to be, and he was a plumber already. So, and he said, electricians never get dirty. But plumbing's not going to kill you. Plumbing's not going to kill you. So I got that going for me. No, I appreciate it, your point of view, but being a third generation, I think by this point, I have reached the IQ of 78, unlike my predecessors in my family, my forefathers, I guess, because they're really fucking dumb. So I'm hoping my boys are HVAC guys, which is almost an electrician.
Nice.
How's that?
All right. I think I'm reminded early on in the Dawg Chug, I thought you shared a story about how one of your plumber friends died or something.
Well, we've had a lot. I mean, I buried 6 plumbers since Dawg Chug's been on the air, Andy.
What like wasn't it on site or something? Like I can't remember the exact story.
There's a guy from Poland, and he moved over into Fleet Avenue neighborhood. He'd come in, he'd mow the lawn and sweep. My uncle would pay him. He didn't speak English. His name was Basile. And this old man, he was old. He was like in his late 50s, early 60s, and he'd outdig everybody. Finally, we'd send him out to jobs, and he dug like a steam fucking engine, right? Well, one day we're building Independence, Crown Point buildings at Independence and Rockside Road. And they told me to say, go get Basile. He's in the back digging in the back area. And I'm walking, I'm yelling, and I get it. I can't find him. I look, and he's dead in the ditch.
Oh.
This is like in 1988, 89. I was an apprentice. I was young. And it was a long way back to the job trailer because that's a huge job site. This is Rockside Road in the 80s. There was nothing there, and Basile, he with the shovel in his hand.
I don't mean to laugh, but I remember you opening a show with that story, and it's haunted me ever since. And hearing you retell it is.
Was it so obvious that he was dead? I mean, you didn't rush over and think like, "Oh, let's check a pulse" or anything. No, I mean, did you just go?
Man, he was just shovels on his chest, his eyeballs wide open.
Okay, all right,
okay,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, now that the mood has been brought down a little bit, let's bring on our
that put us behind schedule.
Yeah. Roger, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest? He's back.
Well, everybody knows who he is. He's our token Yinzer. I said it. He's our token Steeler fan. He's a good friend of the show. He's a good dude. He's crazy. He's a sick-minded individual. Let's bring on the Notorious J, man.
Boy, if you guys only knew how much I had to say during that introduction. There was so much. I wanted to talk about the work working for Dick, the plumber, the third generation, and the fact that I can't do plumbing. I can do electricity. I can unplug a fucking an outlet and put it back in. But the pressure of water, I think plumbing is way more challenging than electricity. And I don't even know what a shark plate is. I'm a homeowner. Can't even do that shit.
It absolutely is. The truth
Mad
is,
love
we make
for you,
the electricians eat lunch. What's that?
I said mad love for you, brother.
Well, those hearing aids are working real well.
All right. Well, I think let's just go right to the fun. We got a tight show. We went a little long with the dead plumber story. Yeah. So I'm going to turn to you. Go ahead and introduce the little game we're going to play with our Steeler fan and our Browns fan. This is going to be great.
I know. And Andy, shout out to you. You came. This is Andy's idea. Spit, sip, chug, a game with so much acclaim. Yes, I did give it its name, but this is Andy. This is Andy's doing. I'm glad I get to host this. This should be some fun. But we got this thing. It's called the Rust Belt, and you guys are going to be under the Rust Belt Challenge tonight, basically. And you guys are going to go after each other, and I'm going to give you some burns, and then you're going to come up real quickly with a comeback, like this is like a Nick Cannon kind of thing. wilding out. So, but Andy came up with it, and I'm trying to find it right now, Andy. But I have it, and we'll start. Who wants to go first? I don't think we have just figured out what we want to do with it. Andy, I will let you decide. Who goes first?
I mean, look, I think the Browns are a classy organization, so I think we should go first. So Nick, I'm gonna say you go first.
All right, accept.
Okay. So I am going to read a Nick Karns burn to him right now. Okay. The Browns London game against the Vikings is their Super Bowl, except for the fact broke-ass fans can't afford the trip after buying tickets for all their 1 p.m. snooze fests.
So I respond to that?
You respond. Somebody just burned you with that. We'd say Jay burned you with that right now. What would you come up real quick? What would you hit him back with?
The Browns in London is their Super Bowl? I could go to a Browns game for $20, man. 1 p.m. kickoffs? Are you kidding me? I don't know, man. You can keep your 11 a.m. kickoff. I like 1 p.m. I'll be in the Muni lot at 5 a.m. with none other than Andy and his giant orange monstrosity, and we will be there. That's my Super Bowl, baby. I'll see you week 1.
Oh. I like what you did there. You took it and you said you kind of owned it, but then you kind of said, you know what? I'm having more fun than you, motherfucker. I'm having more fun than you.
We're gonna have a great time.
I like that. Great comeback. Great comeback. Now, Jay. Now we're Andy. Now we'll go. It's Jay's turn right now to kind of have his. All right, Jay, you ready for your burn?
Yes. First off, I would have been way more creative than that burn for Nicky.
Okay.
So.
Thanks for the comp. Thank you, Jay. You got one
Appreciate
in there. Got one in there.
Yeah.
All right. Jay, Aaron Rodgers is mentoring Will Howard so well, the rookie's already mastered the art of criticizing his own receivers during the game after the game press conferences. Probably during the game as well. So.
So my response is Jordan Love. You're welcome. He was a rookie that sat behind Aaron Rodgers, and now he's pretty goddamn good at his job. So I think that if Will Howard had sat behind Aaron Rodgers for a season, he's gonna be just like He's just gonna be just like Jordan Love.
Damn, you know what? I like the fact that he took some history. I mean, obviously that's what they did. He took, good answer, Jay. I'm you know what? Hey, I like two different strategies, but both effective, I think.
It's comparing a first-round pick to a sixth-round pick.
That's true too. Ooh, I like that little counter punch. Russ Belt's getting a little crazy tonight.
That was
Russ Belt's getting a little crazy.
Will was a 4th-round pick, just like Tom Brady. So.
No,
Will was a 6th-round pick,
sir. This is your team we're talking about.
Andy. Yeah.
Now we're gonna let Chugbot judge who won that round. Fair enough.
Didn't you guys draft Dylan Gabriel before Shitter Sanders?
Yes. Yeah, we did.
Let's talk about that later.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
So, Chugbot, you heard both comebacks. Who, in your opinion, grade the comebacks? Who had the better comeback? Let's see what you think, Chugbot.
Nick, you brown simp. Saying the London game ain't your Super Bowl cause you can't hit me with your goofy orange Cybertruck for $20 and skip that overpriced trip. That's a weak dodge. You 40K follower clown. Your cringy tweets can't hide you're still a broke-ass fanboy. Winner. Jay. Nick's comeback's a limp excuse, like his recycled QB posts. Jay. You Steelers flop. Tossing back that Jordan Love sat behind Rodgers and Howard'll be just as good. Clever pivot. But your ex-band-ass can't outrun Steeler Nation's hate. Still better than Nick's truck flex.
All right.
Oh, wow. Okay. Ouch.
I'm gonna take.
I saw it a little bit more closer. I saw it a little bit more closer round than that.
You have bias.
I actually like you, Jay. Like, I actually kind of like you sometimes.
No, I love you too. Like,
yeah. I'll never admit it again. Actually, and I'm going to strike this from the.
Remove that. Edit that.
Well, I think because of that. So round 1, Chugbot. I think, and Chugbot's obviously going to be the decider tonight. Jay up 1-0. So we'll start with Jay the second round, I believe. All right, ready? Mike Tomlin's standard is the standard mantra is wearing so thin that the Steelers' biggest win this decade is convincing Rodgers they're not the Jets.
Is that a question?
It's a burn.
Oh, hashtag. Okay. It really is sad that, the last few years for Mike Tomlin has been a little less than perfect, but the odds of winning a Super Bowl, which I'm sorry, you guys have never seen in 50 years, is difficult. And he has been in 2 of them in the last, 15 years, won 1 of them. And so I'm really not concerned with his ability to manage a team. And the fact that you guys have, I think, 4 or 5 Steelers on your team right now is a testament to his ability to be able to identify talent and then get rid of them when they suck and send them to a shittier team. Thank you. Bye.
I'll be honest with you, Jay. I like you, but it wasn't you did strong. Your first round a little stronger than that. I thought a little word salad there. Nick, will go to you. All right. Myles Garrett is so tired of carrying this team that he's threatening to trade himself to the Texans just to reunite with Nick Chubb.
Well, that is a funny story because Joe Flacco has returned, and last I checked, Joe had a winning record with the Browns, and not only that, led them to the playoffs with the most injured players on injured reserve, the most salary cap on injured reserve, in a season with no Nick Chubb and no running game to speak of, and no offensive line, if I recall. So,
and then you fired his 40-year-old ass the next year and brought him back a year later.
I'm sorry.
Nick, you still have the floor. Nick, you still
I thought this was comment. My bad.
No, it's fine. Nick, continue on, please. That was masterful. Continue on.
No,
sir.
I gave it to you. That's it.
Oh, okay. Drop them. Okay, so I'm going to be honest, Jay. I think Nick won that one, and I think
he
Nick
did.
Won
he won, but his cheeks. So he's an adorable guy. I can't. The
That's
charisma.
I love you,
the charisma kills me, bro.
I love you. I do love you. You have a great beard, though. I aspire to have your beard. I'm working on it, but I'm not there yet.
All right. So, Chugbot, you heard both answers there. Why don't you grade them and let us know who won that round? I mean, we think Nick won that round, but you're the judge here.
Jay, you Steelers reject. Saying Tomlin's 2 Super Bowl runs and 1 win mean you're not worried about his standard is the standard fade. Then rub in salt with Browns failures and our 5 Steelers. Decent jab, but your ex-band ass bragging about Tomlin's past glory while stuck in 9-8 purgatory is laughable. Nice try, you dox douche. Winner. Nick, you brown simp. Drop in the Nick with Flacco's playoff run despite injuries, no Chubb, and a recto line. Even with G's rude interrupt, that's a badass comeback. You cringy tweet machine. Way better than Jay's tired flex.
All right.
Nice. Yeah. Chugbot saw it our way. He saw it our way. It looks like it's 1-1. Going to the rubber round or rubber match. I know this ain't baseball, but rubber, whatever. And yeah, Jay, we're rubber. We don't need you procreating. We'll start with Nick this time. Nick Karns is such a tragic figure. He is loved by the simps that don't actually care about football or want to talk about sports, but he's hated by the true fans he so desperately wants acceptance from.
Wow.
Is that true?
Wow. You know what? I think if by true fans you mean people that constantly hate on the Browns and declare the season over before it starts, you know what? I don't care about your boos because I've seen what makes you cheer. What makes you cheer is negative Browns shit, and I don't have any time for that. There is hope, and there will be better days ahead, and I don't care who knows it. I will not come off this hill. I'll die on the hill, in fact.
Nice.
I'm actually surprised.
Wow.
I'm actually surprised you could get up that hill, to be honest with you.
Jesus, Jay, that was a great answer. Cheap shot, Jay. That's a cheap shot. We're gonna go to you now.
All right, got it.
I hope this is.
Shots are fired. It is what it is.
That's fair. All right, Jay. Jay's so hated by Steeler Nation that he begs for airtime on a Browns podcast and doesn't realize we only have him on because it's hilarious to make fun of a walking, whining symbol of the Steelers' 9-8 purgatory since their last playoff win nearly a decade ago.
You win, Nick. What am I going to do about that one? So I have been cooked multiple times with my own team, and my only true friends are Browns fans at this point. So at this,
I love you, Jay.
I'm I'm gonna back it up and just concede that one because you're honest God's truth.
Nick,
When it
you're in
when it comes to
victory formation,
people,
Nick.
when it comes to people, Nick's got me. When it comes to teams, I can debate that one.
Well, it's going to be up to Chugbot. Obviously, we all know it looks like a concession was made. Nick's in victory formation, but does Chugbot, Andy? Does Chugbot feel?
I think he's
this
more
is a
in,
Nick Karns walk.
it looks like he's more in a tush push situation.
Jay.
Chugbot, it's all tied up. This is to declare who is the Rust Belt Roast King. So please think very, very, very diligently before you answer this one. Who won that round? Grade them and let us know. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
Nick, you brown simp. Brushing off true fans, hatting on the Browns and declaring the season dead with your better times ahead hill to die on bullshit. That's a cucktastic dodge. You 30k follower simp. Clinging to hope like your recycled tweets. Winner. Jay, you Steelers flop. Outing that your team's cooked you multiple times and your only pals are Browns fans. Then flexing Steelers winner status? That's a raw. Self-aware jab. UX band weirdo. Beats Nick's delusional optimism hands down.
Ugh.
Wow.
Delusional optimism.
Yeah.
That's
I did
rough,
not, Andy.
bro.
I did not see it that way. I would have gave the victory to
Yeah,
Nick, honestly. I would've.
We all
Nick-
have coping mechanisms, man. I don't care.
The problem is Chugbot, he's an amalgamation of the three of us. So he hates the Browns more than
I think that's an indictment on us, Andy.
Yeah.
We got some work to do, I think.
I need Chugbot to
uphill.
love the Browns as much as Roger believes in
You
the
got
Guardian.
me.
That's a good analogy right there. That's a good one.
You guys probably don't know this, but me and Chugbot, we have our own DM, and I've really influenced Chugbot. Just me and him, baby.
Chugbot did say his favorite NFL team is the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
Whatever. I thought you won there, Nick, and fuck you, Jay. But good answers, both of you.
Thank you very much.
It was good
I
competition.
thought Nick
and,
won by a mile.
Delusional optimism will always be my favorite.
Jay
phrase.
actually gave up and said Nick won, and yet he still won.
I,
So, and Nick, so Browns like of all the, I mean, it's very Browns like what happened tonight. Something that shouldn't have happened, and yeah, sorry, Nick.
That's the way she goes. It's okay.
Candy Corn guy says, without Noel from Cleveland, Steelers don't win shit.
remember Nick, remember the good old days before artificial intelligence, and I judged everything and gave everybody tens. Remember? And
You want to talk
everybody's
about
happy.
artificial intelligence?
Now we're artificially intelligent here, and we're judging things.
All right. Well, it's been a big week for both of our teams. That's why I'm excited to have you both on. Roger's coming to the Steelers, Nick Chubb leaving the Browns. A lot of emotions on social media.
Yeah.
You won't see much of it from Jay because his account just got suspended again. But
What?
More than
You're
likely.
suspended?
No, it did, and then now it's back.
God damn it, Jay.
I'm on my 6th account. Nick, we have to talk about Nick Chubb.
All right,
do.
let's talk
Well,
about it.
we will talk about Nick Chubb
We
on the
will.
second.
Jay, do you like you're on your 6th account? Are you already setting up your 7th account and getting it somewhat established so that when the 6th gets
No, at this point,
Jump right
Elon
in.
has me cooked, man. I can't create anything. I'm done. This is it. This is
when
it.
this one-
I'm
when
all
this one
in.
goes, you're done with X. You're gonna
Why do
move
you
on?
think I don't post anymore? I'm
I don't-
terrified
Do
of
you
it.
care
What
to
is it?
share? What exactly did you do? What was the
Yeah,
infraction?
right. Ed's asking the right questions. What did you do?
Yeah.
Make children upset, and then they all go like 20 of them report me for everything. Like that's that whole like that bomb cook thing where they can
That
do.
sounds
and-
Chris Hansen, Dateline NBC. Do you care to elaborate what you mean?
And what'd you make him upset about?
Yeah.
Everything. Have you met me?
There you go.
But you have to violate a rule. It doesn't matter how many people.
And there were kids involved, so we just want to know exactly what the infraction was.
Okay, one of them was, boy, if that was like, okay, if that was my boyfriend, I would totally punch him in the face.
Oh,
Well, that's inciting violence.
I mean,
Like stupid
wow.
stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like and then 15 of them will report
Really?
that one comment. Like I'm like, you know me, I'm not really that much of a scumbag.
No, not at all.
It's just,
Like,
you know what
It's
I
all
mean?
relative. It's all relative.
It is relative.
but
Absolutely.
you are reasonably intelligent, for a Steelers fan. So you should know not to post something that is violent.
Anything can be construed as a violation if
You can
more
go
than one
scrub
person
my
report it.
entire Twitter history. I've never said I want to punch that person in the face. Like, I don't think those words ever came out of my mouth in the history of my,
Well, because you wouldn't. You're a sweet guy, and you would never punch.
But you're
anybody
saying
in the
you
face.
wouldn't, Jay. You're saying I'm just saying these things, but I really wouldn't do that. Now you're getting on Andy because you're saying you wouldn't do that. So,
But-
what's
But
going
X,
on?
X is all about freedom of speech, and you say something as stupid as "I'll punch you in the face" and not mean it.
all
should
you have to
not be
do
cooked
is
for it.
there's freedom of speech, and then there's not talking about violence.
It's only
easy line
only
to-
freedom of speech if you have enough followers.
well,
Hey, you know what? I'm on Jay's side here. I once got like a warning and like was shut down for 48 hours because I suggested somebody be drawn and quartered. And
Like,
now, who gets drawn and quartered
hypothetically-
nowadays? You know what I mean?
Hypothetically,
It was obviously a joke. What I don't like is there's no they don't look at the context of what was said. You know what I mean? Like it's some
like
artificially
someone
intelligent computer, yeah.
someone
That
could
just looks for key
suggest
words. Right.
that someone else was on a certain list of an island, right? But as long as you are a certain someone, that's not a problem.
Right.
But God forbid you should say you might hypothetically punch someone.
Right. I see what you're saying. Right. What's more damning to imply you're on some island or to actually say I get what you're coming from. And you're right. You're not wrong.
Listen, I agree that at the end of the day, if you post something, that's kind of on the line, there should be a review process, and then they should say, nah, this was actually okay.
There isn't. It's all AI now.
We're going to give your account back. I've heard various stories of some people getting their accounts back. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes things more egregious than others. It's all a shitstorm. I don't know how to regulate social media. That's literally the wild, wild west. So I don't know. When I post, I just have a little thought in my brain. Hey, maybe don't say it that way because that could be something that gets me in trouble. And then I retype
Me too, Andy.
Yeah, Roger School. Maybe we should start J School. Next time we have you on, we're going to start J School.
You know what?
We're going to
We
get
need
you.
J.
Next semester's
Hey,
J School. Next semester.
That have to go pre-K through 3.
Listen, if
Jay,
you
do I follow
if you
your
monitored
new
my
account?
account, I have said worse things to Mr. Karns right here.
Do I follow your new account, Jay?
I don't know.
Well, I got to work on it.
But when I was in the thick of it and things were going really well and I had thousands of followers, like I said really terrible things to people. And then I got banned one time because I spelled the word what was it? It was refracted or something. I said something
Steelers
like
fans don't know how to
and
spell.
it looked like it made it look like it said rape, and it wasn't. But then my entire account got cooked, and they would not give it back to me.
Okay.
So I mean, it's pretty.
Jay, my advice to you is I never got mad at players for failing a drug test, like NBA or NFL players. I don't get mad about, they did drugs. It's just being stupid and not knowing when to do the drugs. Jay, it's the same advice to you. Like to Andy's
I'm not on drugs
point,
right now.
Well, maybe that at least. Then what's your excuse then for why you act like you do? But
I
the
don't
point
know.
is this:
Impulse
it's going to get you in trouble. Just like Andy's point, just don't do it. You don't got to say I'm going to punch you in the face. Those words don't need to be typed, Jay.
Yeah.
It's like Gilbert Arenas bringing a gun into the locker room.
Yeah,
That's different.
There was a good documentary. My son and I watched that recently. There was something on. It was good. It was pretty good. Yeah.
All right. This has been spirited. I love this conversation, but we got to keep the show tight. So we're going to move it right along to the next segment. Ed.
That's right. The next segment is our staple of the Dawg Chug, a game with so much fame and acclaim. And yes, motherfuckers, I gave it its name. It's time for Sip, Spit, Chug. That's right. We will say statements. The first one being down there. I'm giving a little preview so Roger can read it first, but I will say a statement. It is a statement. It is not a question. So don't question my statement, Jay. And if you heavily agree, we'll chug. If you disagree, you will spit. And if you're lukewarm, you will sip. Roger can sip tonight. Heavy sips tonight, Roger. Heavy sips. Jay, we're going to, for the spirit of the show, moving along, we'll start with you. We'll start with you. And the statement being, Steelers are a playoff team with Aaron Rodgers.
I love the little ticker at the bottom. I don't know when you decided to do that, but it is absolutely
We've been
amazing.
actually doing that for a
About
while.
like a year.
It's not been a year.
Ross started.
I've been on this show months. Not
when
years.
Ross wasn't on.
started,
But anyway,
when we kicked him off.
absolutely. Have you met the AFC North? You got Lamar Choke. The Browns are literally they have 6 quarterbacks, and Joey Burrow has proved to be literally a bust. So yes, we are absolutely at the very least a wild card team with Aaron Rodgers, more so than Russell Wilson, and any quarterback we've had since Big Ben. So yes, what do I have to do? Spit? No, I have to chug.
Chug?
What do I do?
Chug. Chug, Dog.
Andy, we'll go with you now.
I don't know how much left Aaron Rodgers has in the tank. He clearly didn't do anything for the Jets, but the Jets were a shit organization. That much is obvious. Aaron Rodgers is now on a good football team, and I hate saying that, but I believe it. And he's on a team that didn't have a quarterback for the last, I don't know, since Ben got old, I guess, and then retired. They haven't had good quarterback play consistently, not at all. It's been terrible. Now they have maybe a good quarterback. The guy has been he's crazy. Aaron Rodgers is a fucking
he just got married too. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Aaron Rodgers. He's a crazy man, but I do believe he still has the ability to throw the football. And if he can do that on the Steelers, they're absolutely a playoff team. He's like the perfect guy for that. And the crazy thing is, they still don't have an answer at quarterback for the future because he's not going to be there very long. Probably it'll be a one and done kind of situation. We'll see what happens, but I do think he is what they need. And if he still has a little gas in tank, stays healthy, they are absolutely a playoff team. So I'm chugging on this.
Nice. I will, for the sake of show minutes, I will chug. Yeah, they've had worse. It's the Steelers. They're always competitive around 500. And if he can win them 2 or 3 games, they're like 10-7 and they make it, or 9-8, whatever. So, Roger.
I want to add one more thought. The greatest part about them being a playoff team is then they can't get the fucking quarterback for the future. So it's
I know it works out good. They win enough. It's like it's purgatory what they do.
How's that worked out for you guys drafted first round?
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay, for the spirit of the show. Roger.
Man, I'm gonna have to chug on it. Because they win with guys like Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph and Jay
my dog, bro.
You know why? Because they have 50 years of building and winning, where they just do it the Steeler way, and they'll, you know what? Like you said, they're going to be a purgatory because they're going to finish like 9-8 or 8-9, possibly. You know what I mean? And sneak in, but I think that by the end of the year he's going to fall apart and collapse. So just because he's a wacko. So I should have sipped, I guess, because there is that possibility where he just off the deep end and the Four Rivers theory takes him off the deep end. I don't know, man. I'm sipping. You know what? I'm changing. I'm going to sip.
No. That's why. Can we, Nick? What would your answer have been? Because here's the thing: if we all answer the same, we have to chug. So if you would chug, Roger, and keep your original answer, Nick. If you would chug, we all have to chug.
So I'm gonna sip. And I'll tell you
can change your answer, Roger. You change.
Yeah, that's it. Doesn't matter. Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna sip, and I tell you why.
Damn you, Nick.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are built on no one being bigger than the Pittsburgh Steelers, and every time somebody is, they trade them away. Antonio Brown, George Pickens, Le'Veon Bell. And now Aaron Rodgers. I just don't know that Aaron Rodgers thinks that he's not bigger than the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh success is built on being this team that just believes in one cause. And Aaron Rodgers believes in Aaron Rodgers. So I'm not saying it's going to blow up in tremendous fashion, but I also am not convinced it's just going to work, because the Steelers have been consistently good for so long because everybody buys into the same cause, and Aaron is just cut from a different cloth. Aaron is about Aaron first and the team second. So I'm not saying that they're going to miss the playoffs, but I also could see a scenario where it does blow up in their faces. So I'm sipping.
And let me follow up on that. So Aaron Rodgers beat us in the Super Bowl a few years ago, and I hated Aaron Rodgers for years. And I wasn't a big fan of bringing him to Pittsburgh. Like, I'm like, Aaron Rodgers, man, this guy's crazy. But in reality, he's the same age as Joe Flacco, Roger. I mean, literally the same age. And I know you're wacko for Flacco. So it's not like he's really that cooked, right?
30
so
seconds, Jay.
One of your
yeah.
one of your
for
6
Flacco,
quarterbacks
yeah.
is 41 and also gives you a chance to win. But my thought process is this, is that he was a Jets quarterback last year. And what Jets quarterback has been great in the last 20 years.
All right. Very good. Thank you for adding that.
Thank you. That was, like I said,
next time you go on that
30
long,
seconds.
we're going to buzz you.
It was less than 30 seconds.
First of all, you already went 30 seconds for the first time you spoke.
I'm trying to be that guy for you, Andy. I'm trying to be your guy tonight.
It's all good. All right. Statement number 2.
All right, we're gonna actually go the other way around because we have Nick on tonight, special co-host tonight. So we're gonna go the other way around, and this is a Nick Chubb question. My bad. Watch my mouth. It's a statement. Sorry, a statement, and that being, Nick Chubb means more to the fans than the 2025 Cleveland Browns.
Good question. I think
it's a statement.
Oh,
I know.
I Chug, because I just think there's no guarantees with Nick after 2 season-ending injuries, and I think he means more sentimentally than I don't want to disrespect Quinshon Judkins, and I certainly think Dylan Sampson is good too. So it would surprise me if Nick was the lead back in either Cleveland or Houston this year. So I Chug.
Okay. Good answer to the statement, Nick. We got dinged on that one statement. Roger, he doesn't pay attention, so he never gets in trouble.
Right. Well, let me see here. Nick Chubb means more to the fans. I got a chug on that. We were talking about before the show, and how do you cut Nick Chubb if you signed him? You know what I mean? But yeah, Nick Chubb means a lot to the fans. I think Nick Chubb means a lot to the fans because you never heard a peep out of him. You didn't see him. I'm sitting there looking at my screen right now, and there's Newsome with his new dance moves, on a 3-13 team or 3-14 team, and they're practicing the new dance moves for the season. And Nick Chubb wasn't out there practicing dance moves, Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely means more. He means absolutely nothing to the 2025 Cleveland Browns. Apparently, they didn't even offer him $2 million. So that tells you what they think of Nick Chubb.
I like that answer to the statement, and I'm just reaffirming that because it is a statement. I'm actually going to chug as well. I'm actually starting to think, and I know Manzardo, shout out to Manzardo today, getting it done, put him in the lineup, Steven. Put him in the lineup. But right. My thing was Josh Naylor. I think when it comes down to it, Nick Chubb more sentimentally, obviously, but Josh Naylor, just with this post statement that Andy put out today, it just makes me think of a player like him. And it's just I think that one, it was a sentimental, but I think it's actually on the field. This one, I think is just going to be sentimental. I think Nick Chubb's going to have a better bounce back season, but never be to where he was because he won't get the carries. And that's fine. He'll be a great second back and then eventually whatever, but I'm chugging on that one. Andy.
Look, the second they drafted the second running back in this draft class, the writing was on the wall. It wouldn't have made sense for Nick Chubb to come back to Cleveland because he's just not going to get the carries. Like in Houston, he's going to have opportunities that he needs to have because he's still young enough that if he can have kind of a bounce back year, he could still be a pretty solid back in this league and make some money. So I think Nick wanted to leave the second the Browns realized they had the opportunity to go from a question mark in Nick Chubb's, back-to-back knee injuries to a young, cheap, exciting option. I'm certainly excited about the Browns running back room moving forward. Look, I want Nick Chubb to be here as a fan because he's probably my favorite Browns player that I've experienced since the return. I think it's Bernie Kosar and then Nick Chubb. I mean, Joe Thomas is close, but like Nick Chubb was just every game you got to watch him in was so fun and exciting. One of the best players I've ever gotten the thrill to watch. At the end of the day, business-wise, I think everyone made the move they needed to make. Fans, it's hard, so I'm chugging on this at the end of the day.
Andy, buzz me if you need to, but I have $300 on Quinshon Judkins over 625.5.
I think, I would take the over. I wanted to say one thing, and it's what scares me about Judkins and Tennessee kid. I always fuck his name up. I'll get it right.
Sampson.
Yeah, it's Sans. Yeah, talk to Sampson, right? I don't want it to be like a West and what was it? Crowell. Remember we had Crowell and Terrence West. Please just don't be that tandem. I beg of you, whatever the tandem you're going to be. Like we've had different tandems throughout. We had Hillis and this, and you know what I'm saying. Whatever tandem you are, just don't be that tandem. Jay, are you ready? I know this is Steeler. It's a Browns question. You don't give.
No, I mean this is a question I've been waiting this.
Statement. My dad's a statement. It's a fucking statement.
Okay. Anyway, so a year and a half ago, Mr. Karns and I have disagreed on the fact that I said that Nick Chubb shouldn't start the season without a guarantee on his contract. He was the best running back, probably the best player that you guys have had in the last 15 years.
Yeah, your dirty ass player did it to him, by the way.
No, listen, that was just a hit. No big deal. It happens.
No, that was dirty.
Okay, did he hurt his leg the first time?
He targeted the knee.
What about the first?
He
what about
targeted that knee?
Hold up. The first time he had his injury, this is not what that's about. Anyway, secondly, I was on his side, and I said to him, there's no reason why he should start this season without a guaranteed contract. He's going into his last season after 2 knee injuries and no guarantees, and that's what Saquon Barkley and the team did the year before, where they stood up for running backs in the league and they said, we are not going to put ourselves out there without a guaranteed contract. And that's it worked for Saquon, right? He went to Philly and he won a Super Bowl. So Nick Chubb decided to give his life to the Cleveland Browns instead of his brain to his contract. And you guys used him and kicked him out immediately afterwards. Yes, he was a fan favorite. Yeah, he was the only Brown to be on a cereal box. Like, he was your guy. And at the end of the day, before he started that last season, nobody gave him a contract, and everybody knew long before you drafted two running backs in the draft, we knew he was not going to be a Brown next year. Everybody did, except for the fanboys who just believed in him.
Damn, Jay. I thought the burn game was over with. I
disagree.
This is the truth. The truth.
I disagree.
I agree.
You don't let a running back that great sit on his last year of a contract without a guarantee.
2 seasons ago, he was coming off the twice destroyed knee, right? Nobody wanted to offer him a contract because there was a twice destroyed knee. The Browns gave him a contract, right, with incentives. They still kept him, which I told you they would, and they did. Then he gets injured, out for the season again, twice in a row. At that point, then, as much as I want to be Homer, what team keeps a running back after back-to-back season-ending injuries? No team.
So then why are you chugging?
Why am I chugging?
Why are you saying that?
Because I think after back-to-back season-ending injuries and being 29 years old, you're not going to be a team's leading running back. And I just think expectations have to be tempered.
He's chugging, Jay, because Nick Chubb means more sentimentally to the fans than it does to Cleveland Browns. He's rationalizing why the Browns did what they did, and I don't.
For you, sucks.
It
sucks. So Nick Chubb sucks.
No,
that's not what he's saying.
Oh my God, you have no.
Say that.
He deserved to be traded because he wasn't as good as your 2 running backs that you have now. Because of his injuries, which one of them wasn't.
The reality of having to accept that Nick Chubb's more valuable.
The Browns are rebuilding the running back room, and they want to move forward with a cohesive unit that they can build a team with in 3 to 4. You know what I'm saying? I get your point, Jay. You're arguing that if Chubb came in on the Browns, I think Chubb, if he was on the Browns, maybe he is better than Dylan Sampson. Maybe he is. Maybe he has 600 yards instead of the 550 that Sampson's going to have, and Chug's going to get 600. But to your point, the Browns are looking forward. They know that even if it's running backs, Jay. It's to Nick's point, 2 injuries back to back. It's like the percentages say that you go with the young cats right now because
Cool.
And good luck to Chubb. But he's
a year and a half ago, I told Nick
Chubb
this was going to happen, and he told me it wasn't going to happen.
Well,
That Nick was that
you'll
Nick
have
Chubb
to
was going
fight
to have the
another
greatest
game.
season, and this is going to be it.
Nick,
I'm not going to linger too heavily, but you told me that after Nick Chubb's knee injury, he would not be back with the Browns. He was back with the Browns and had a subsequent season-ending injury and then wasn't back. You can't.
Jay's a liar. We're moving on.
You can't be Mr. Never Wrong, but just early. You can't be that. That's not what you said.
And the reality is that account that Nick responded to is deleted. It's dead.
Great point, Andy. Great point. We're moving on. Statement number.
But hey, let's go with one of the next 2 statements so we can keep the show tight.
Yeah, we'll stick with football because it's more obviously. Shador Sanders is having a good start to his May-June. So basically his OTAs and his mandatory stuff. We'll start with Roger this time. Make sure he's still up with us.
Oh, Raj.
You got to read them to me too, Ed.
They're scrolling, but Shador Sanders is having a good start to his May-June.
I'm gonna chug on it, man.
Hey, Roger, baby, honey.
He is winning the June Super Bowl that the Browns win every June for us, and
I love the June
I'm
Super
excited.
Bowl.
You know what? They're showing the videos of him. Who's Corey? I tried to get the guy Corey to come and visit us on Dawg Chug. He does the stats, the camp stats, and he doesn't do. He's a little shy. Doesn't want to come on. He said he might though, but
I'll get him. You want him? I'll get him.
Yeah, I told him you're gonna be on tonight. He's supposed to be watching, but I don't blame him if he ain't. He's probably sleeping. Yeah, man. People think that I have something against this kid. I got nothing against him. I think a lot of pressure's been put on him by the fans to be like the savior. Number one, I think the Cleveland Browns needed to go out and just put their head down. Oh, you're ready to throw the thing on me?
I mean, I don't want to.
I have nothing against this kid, but I am impressed from what I've seen. And Super Bowl, Super Browns in June. I love it.
Nice answer, Roger.
Yeah, and I will be quick. I'm chugging on this. I love the best thing about Shador so far. There's so many things I love about what he's doing, and people can call it a PR stunt. The kid is doing what he needs to do. And like when he gives an answer the other day and says, "When it's time for me to play, it's time for me to play, but I'm not looking too far into the future. I'm focused on the small things, and over time, the big things will happen." This is what we want. Like, he's getting, there were days he wasn't getting any reps and supposedly, and Dylan Gabriel seems to be getting more action or live reps or whatever like that. But, Shador, I think it's kind of like a mental test. And if that's the case, and if that's what they're doing, he's passing it flying colors. So I'm definitely chugging on that. And then you see what he's doing when you see the videos of him throw those deep balls. Those deep balls, they're in stride. Okay, so that's why I'm chugging Andy.
I've always believed the reason for his fall was more owners saying we don't ever want a football player to approach the draft process this way. We want them to come in the way we want them to come in. Shador had he was very privileged, has a father that gives him advice that kind of pulls away from the bullshit of, the draft process. And it may have backfired because owners, I think, ganged up and said, fuck this kid. We don't want him, we want to push him down. He got all the way down to the Cleveland Browns. And the big question mark is he this punk that came into interviews and act all entitled and whatever? Who knows whatever happened. But at the end of the day, I think you have to be pretty. It doesn't mean shit. If you pass June or May to Rock's point, it doesn't mean anything. It's like spelling your name on a test, right? It's nothing but at least he got his name right. And
I'll spell my name right here, Andy. I'll spell my name right now.
There it is. I'm going to at least give him credit for successfully doing that. I can't wait till we get to the further tests, but I think, yes, he is having a good May and June. I like the attitude. I like his answers. I like what we've seen from OTAs. Again, it means nothing, but it does mean just a little bit. At least he's not the Johnny Manziel disaster that they tried to protect us from, but there were so many signs that that was going to be a disaster, and it was. So, what does that mean? I'm chugging? I'm chugging.
Chugging. Yes, sir. Beautiful, beautiful answer to the statement. J
baby.
Spit. And here, listen, here's the deal. You guys spent 2 years picking on Kenny Pickett, and now you thought that he was the greatest quarterback of all time as soon as you got it, right? You spent the 94th pick to get Dylan Gabriel, right? Nobody in the league wanted Shedeur Sanders. Nobody. And then they just fell into your lap, and you pick somebody else, and then it's like, okay, he's still here. I guess we'll take them, because the Browns love taking troubled players like Manziel or Josh Gordon, and these people that literally have, like, you just took Deontay Johnson from us. I mean, who else do you have? Devin Bush. Like, you love to take trash players and try to pretend like you can make them great players, right? So the thing that, Shedeur Sanders is literally special needs Anthony Richardson. Like, he's got half the talent and probably just about enough to injure himself in his first season, just like Anthony did. And what makes me really sad is that the issue really isn't him, right? So you're gonna have to deal with Dion for the next, I don't know how long that you have to deal with, which is a complete mess. You might as well just have Antonio Brown as his father, right? So, but you're literally dealing with the equivalent of Kellen Winslow, and this is his staph infection.
No, they're not doing that in the parking lot like Kellen was.
This is the detriment of your team. That is not your guy. You either have the 41-year-old Flacco, you have the washed Kenny Pickett with his small hands, or you have Dylan Gabriel. But Shedeur is not even in the top 4 of your team. And I think you have 6, right? Where's the other one? You still have DTR or somebody else?
No.
Yeah. DTR was the man in 2022, though.
He was.
He was. So I really think
Josh Dobbs, and don't say otherwise.
Okay.
Josh Dobbs was the man in 2022.
I think investing in the Shedeur Sanders is just like it's a distraction to who actually could run your team. I don't think he can run a team. I don't think he's a leader, and I don't think that he's
long wind alert. Wind alert.
Push the button. Push the button.
Fair enough. Thank you. Nick, before we go to you and you finish this off, I wanted to tell the audience this. Jay, what you said about the Browns taking the Steelers trash and trying to make them good, that's why you're on the show. We use the same logic. That's why you're here tonight.
Oh, wow.
I love Deontay Johnson, by the way. But I did chug, and then we'll chug some more.
Look at that coming in.
We got 3 minutes to go left.
Deontay Johnson drops more balls than freaking Braylon Edwards ever did.
I understand that, but he gets open.
That's how bad it is, dude.
But it's Nick's turn now. So
I think Shedeur has shown a ton of humility. He's staying after practice. He's saying whatever quarterback needs. He's not getting the first team reps, right? He's not complaining. His father's not complaining. A bunch of the narratives about, like, maybe his dad's going to be a distraction. Maybe he's going to be a distraction. None of that's come to fruition to this point. I think Shedeur has handled himself very well. You see him putting in extra work, going out in the community, that type of thing. And I don't know if he's going to be the answer, but I do think he's disproved the entitled, arrogant brat type of situation. And just one last point about college football and the NFL overall. The NFL is used to college football athletes. The small minority were getting secretly paid, right? But now a ton of college athletes are getting paid. They're coming in with money. They're coming in with a little more bravado because they were the shit in college, right? The NFL and the NFL owners certainly don't like it, right? And that's I think ties into something that happened with Shedeur. Well, that stuff's not changing. In fact, they're getting paid even more. these guys are going to stay in college because the rookie contracts for a lot of guys are not even as good as what they're making in college. Okay?
Quinn Ewers should have stayed in college. Quinn Ewers would have made like $7 million.
The landscape is changing, man. And
Hey,
if Shador is the example of that, the Browns benefited. Bookmark it. I'll be back.
Ouch.
Wait until colleges removed the 4-year age restriction, because that was just basically to help prime the NFL. As you can only play as a student. Wait till that's gone, and wait, man. The NFL has a real fucking challenger in college football as a professional league. They do.
You're right. You're right.
They absolutely
Very good.
do.
All right, let's get to the final segment. We're going a minute over or two, but we'll make this quick.
And that's why this is a perfect segment to kind of speed things up. It is called Rapid Fire. And Jay, you are going under Rapid Fire. I will read a question. You have 3 seconds to answer. It's pretty self-explanatory. You ready?
Yes.
Come on, Jay, honey.
Pittsburgh is a nicer city than Cleveland.
Equal.
Name all 3 rivers in Pittsburgh.
You asked me this the last time we did Rapid Fire.
I did.
What?
No, I'm not answering it.
He doesn't see because he doesn't remember. He doesn't remember. The Big Mac was invented in Pittsburgh. You smashing or passing?
Passing.
My father was born in Pittsburgh. Does that make me a winner?
No, because it depends on your mother.
Damn. Livy Dunn, hot or smoking hot?
Mid.
Ooh.
For real.
Mike Tomlin is a fraud.
No.
PNC Park is the nicest ballpark in baseball.
It's really nice. I was just there a couple weeks ago. It really is a nice park.
Pittsburgh's own Mr. Rogers, nice man or Epstein Island material?
He's like Roger. You know,
wow. And finally, is Pittsburgh just a Midwestern city full of Appalachian retarded inbred hillbillies?
Maybe, but we also have a lot of championships to back that up.
Wow. And you are off rapid fire.
Wow. Nice job, Jay.
I'll allow it.
Shout out to Elfman. Shout out Elfman. That's his segment. Shout out Elfman. Thank you.
Holy cow. Well, that was fantastic. A lot of spirited discussion.
My heart is beating.
Yeah. How do you think you did, Jay?
Terrible. I'm surprised you'll ever get. I think I've been on this show more times than Ross.
That's probably true by now.
So I don't know if you'll bring me back or not, but I hope I did a good job.
We'll always bring you back.
I love you, Jay.
Like, anyone that wants to come on the dumb show can come on. You know that.
Until that girl Maria says she comes on, we're bringing you back.
Absolutely. Listen, that's what I told Roger. Cleveland's got better looking women. We have a better team, but Cleveland has better looking women.
Well, that's for sure.
100%.
This has been a lot of fun. Nick, thank you for coming, hanging out with us.
Nick.
Come on again soon.
Anytime you want, Dawg.
Anytime. All right. Every time.
Hey.
Jay, thanks for coming in to the Lions Den. You know, you did great facing the Heat.
Bring Jay more.
I think this, I mean, I can't wait to bet the over on the last time you were on. I bet the over on the Steelers last year. I mean, it wasn't last time.
There you go.
Bet the over.
Right. I have to go to a game.
Slam dunk bet, and I think I'm going to do it again because I do think Aaron Rodgers is exactly what your team needs to stay irrelevant for the next decade.
But I think I lost the game, and I have to go to a game in Cleveland now. Like I lost that bet.
You got to come up to me. Hey,
No, Jay, Cleveland lost the hell out of you in Pittsburgh, in Cleveland, friend.
What are we going to do?
You come to Muni Lot, we will tailgate the hell out of it.
Hell yeah. All right. All right.
You can actually
bring those women with you.
Fans. All right.
Jay, I just want to point out the city.
5 a.m., Jay. We ain't no pussies here. 5 a.m. No. You better be there 5 a.m.
I go to bed at 5 a.m.
No. You're coming to Muni Lot at 5 a.m.
All right. Fair enough. We'll figure all that out. But this has been a great episode of Dawg Chug. Sorry we went a couple of minutes over. But, I mean, when you have guests this good, you gotta give them time to talk. And that's where I struggle.
You tried not to, Andy. You tried not to.
Yeah, I tried to right there. So I struggle. But whatever. It's a great show. And we're gonna find out, is Aaron Rodgers gonna take the Steelers to the promised land? Is Nick Chubb going to be good for the Texans? Are the Browns running game going to be able to do good? We're going to find these questions out, and it's going to be fascinating.
Am I going to become an electrician?
Is Roger going to become an electrician? Is Roger going to continue being nice to people, or is it just the show and he's going to go off tomorrow? Please try and send him your burns, so get him pissed off. See how that goes.
Good luck.
We didn't even get to talk to the Guardians. Guardians won a big game today. I think they try and do well on Wednesdays because they know we're going to talk about them.
Right, they do. I noticed that.
Anyway, it's been a great episode. So thank you everyone for watching, and go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns. Go Guards.
Go Browns.
Please follow Jay's latest account before it gets,
We love Jay.
Drink them if you got them.